Welcome back to Legion Builds, where we help you bring your favorite characters into games of Dungeons & Dragons. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel and check out our Patreon. Vote in weekly polls to help us decide video releases and receive character sheets of our builds. Today we are building former STARS officer and co-founder of the BSAA, Jill Valentine. Jill was first introduced in the original Resident Evil video game before becoming the main character in Resident Evil 3, where she faced off against the Nemesis. Jill was an experienced soldier before the Raccoon City incident, participating in counter-terrorist missions. After seeing the horrors of the Umbrella Corporation and killing the Nemesis, Jill dedicated her life to hunting down abominations that Umbrella calls bioweapons. She is an expert at infiltration, investigation, survival, combat, and of course, killing monsters. Even though Resident Evil really doesn't have any of that other than the killing monsters part. Not really my game, but to each their own. As always, we are using standard point array because I don't know if you roll for stats and I don't feel like doing point buy. We're multi-classing, so keep limitations in mind. Make strength 10, dex 15, con 13, intelligence 12, Wisdom 14, Charisma 8. Strength and Charisma are low, but you deal with monsters all day, and the only hand weapon you ever use is a knife, and that's Dex. They aren't really needed, so it doesn't matter. Let's start off things with Variant Human. Put +1 into Dex and Con. For feats, take Crossbow Expert. This allows you to ignore reload properties with all crossbows. Being within 5 feet of an enemy does not cause disadvantage, and you can fire a hand crossbow as a bonus action. Now some of you may be wondering why not take Gunner and use firearms. Well, it's simple. Firearms aren't that good. You only have 2 choices and the pistol is the only one worth it. The musket is worthless by comparison to other long-range weapons. Crossbows will grant you a little more variety unless your DM has some very nice homebrew firearms, then go with Gunner. For skills, take Perception. For background, take Soldier, but change some things around and take Acrobatics and Insight. We're going to start this with Ranger. For skills, you're going to need Stealth, Investigation, and Survival. Level 1 Rangers get Deft Explorer. Over the course of this build, this feature will be upgraded to have new abilities, but at level 1 you get Canny. Choose one of your skills, now add double your proficiency bonus. Now, you should always feel the need to change up these builds as you see fit. I'm not your father, do what you want. Personally, I say choose Perception or Survival. Both will really work well with this build. Favorite Enemy makes you an expert of hunting a certain type of enemy. When you get this feature, choose one type of creature or 2 humanoid enemies to be your favored. You now have advantage on survival checks made to track them, and any intelligence check to recall information on them. The bioweapons of the Resident Evil series are either undead hordes or horrifying mutations that we'll classify as either aberrations or monstrosities. Up to your DM, talk to them. You'll get a second one later, but for right now, let's focus on the main enemies of Resident Evil, Undead. Level 2 Rangers gain a fighting style. Archery adds +2 to your attack rolls made with a ranged weapon. You're also now a Spellcaster. Hunter's Mark lets you mark an enemy with a bonus action. You can now add a d6 to damage and have advantage on perception and survival checks towards that target. If you kill the target, you can use another bonus action to move the mark to another target. Cure Wounds lets you heal 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier. Level 3 Rangers gain Primeval Awareness. This lets you burn a spell slot to enhance your awareness of your surroundings. For 1 minute per spell slot, you are aware of the presence of special creatures within a mile of you, such as undead. It doesn't tell you where they are or how many there are, just that you know they're around. You also get your subclass. Monster Slayers are, well, Monster Slayers. Straight to the point. I like it. Hunter's Sense allows you to use an action to determine if a creature within 60 feet of you has any resistances, immunities, or vulnerabilities. Because you know sometimes the creatures will not have an exposed heart or a large soft growth that will explode when you hit them. Hunter's Prey gives you an additional way to add damage to your attacks. By marking a creature as your prey with a bonus action, you can now deal an additional d6. This can be paired with Hunter's Mark, but you can't mark your target with both the same turn, as they are both bonus actions. You also can't move Slayer's Prey to a new target like Hunter's Mark can. But unlike Hunter's Mark, this is not a concentration spell. This is a good way to really lay on the pain or save a spell slot. Speaking of spells, Longstrider increases your movement by 10 feet for 1 hour. Protection from Good and Evil lets you grant resistances to a willing creature from a certain type of creature, like undead. We have a theme here, go with it. For 10 minutes, as long as you maintain the spell, the target of this spell can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed. Also, any creature of the chosen type, attacking them has disadvantage. You can use this on yourself, but it's a concentration, so you can't use Hunter's Mark with it. Good thing you got Slayer's Prey. Time for some different combat capabilities. Level 1 fighters get a fighting style. Dueling adds +2 damage when holding a weapon with one hand and holding no other weapon. Second Wind lets you deal 1d10 plus your fighter level. Level 2 fighters receive Action Surge. This lets you take a second action for free. Level 3 fighters gain their subclass. Battle Masters are tactical fighters who master maneuvers to deal more damage or protect themselves. You receive 4 superiority dice that start off as a d8 that can be used towards maneuvers. Evasive Footwork lets you add a superiority dice to your AC as long as you don't stop moving. How else are you going to explain dodging a missile? Told you, not my game. I really can't say anything though. Like GTA 5 makes any more sense than Resident Evil. Riposte lets you use your reaction to attack a creature that misses you with a melee attack. If you hit, your hit adds your superiority dice to the damage. Parry lets you reduce damage from a melee attack by adding your superiority plus dex. Am I the only person that feels Battlemaster is basically a video game character build for D&D? I've used this a lot. No one else? Really? Alright, whatever, moving on. Level 4 fighters get an ability score improvement. We are now 7 levels in and finally getting one. Put +2 into dex. Level 5 fighters get extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single action. Level 4 rangers get an ability score improvement. We're playing catch up now. Add this into your wisdom. Level 5 rangers receive nothing because extra attack doesn't stack, but hey, you now get level 2 spells. Magic Weapon lets you turn one non-magical weapon into a +1 magic weapon. Casting this at higher levels adds +1. Heads up, this is concentration. Make sure to use this when you need it. Zone of Truth creates a magical zone that is a 15-foot radius sphere, where whomever enters it must make a wisdom save or be unable to tell a lie. Anything they say must be the truth, but as they know what is happening to them, they can avoid telling you the truth by just avoiding the answers. Good news, this isn't concentration and lasts for 10 minutes. Level 6 fighters get another ability score improvement. Bump up your con. Remember, con stacks retroactively, so all previous levels get a bonus to the health. It's in the Player's Handbook, page 117, if you're interested, check this out for yourself. Level 7 fighters gain Know Your Enemy. By spending 1 minute observing or interacting with a creature, you can learn certain information compared to you. You can learn 2 things like strength score, AC, and more. The DM will tell you if it's better than yours, weaker than yours, or even. You also now have another superiority dice and learn a new maneuver. Tactical Assessment lets you add a superiority dice to investigation, insight, or history check. Brace lets you attack as a reaction when a creature comes within reach. On a hit, you add your superiority dice to damage. Level 8 fighters receive another ability score improvement. Bump up your intelligence. Level 6 rangers receive a new feature from Deft Explorer. Roving adds 5 feet to your movement, and you gain a swimming and climbing speed equal to your normal movement. You also gain a new favorite enemy. Take Monstrosity or Aberration, depending on how your DM sees the mutants. Level 7 Rangers gain Supernatural Defense. Now when a creature marked as your Slayer's Prey forces a save against you or grapples you, you can add a d6 to the save or skill check. For spells, Pass Without a Trace adds +10 to your stealth rolls. Level 8 Rangers gain our final ability score improvement. Feel free to put this wherever you want or take a feat. I'll let you decide. You'll also get Landstride, which means non-magical plants can't hinder you. Unless your DM actually uses plants to do this, this isn't going to come up, so it's not that big of a deal. Level 9 fighters get Indomitable. This lets you re-roll one failed save between long rests, and it can be used on failed death saves. Level 10 fighters received Improved Combat Superiority. Your superiority dice are now a d10. For your new maneuvers, Fainting Attack lets you use a bonus action to gain advantage on your next attack, adding a superiority dice to a hit. Let's just think about this for a second. Hunter's Mark adds a d6. Slayer's Prey adds a d6. Now several maneuvers add a d10 to the attack. Ouch. Distracting Strike allows you to give advantage to your ally on a creature you hit by adding your superiority dice to the hit. Level 9 Rangers gain 3rd level spells. Magic Circle creates a 10-foot radius, 12-foot high cylinder within 10 feet of you or maybe on you. This protects you from certain creatures. You know what I mean by that. Creatures of that type cannot enter the cylinder willingly and have disadvantages on attacks against creatures inside the cylinder. And those inside can't be frightened, charmed, or possessed by creatures of the certain type. Or you can reverse this and turn it into a cage for the chosen type. And guess what? It lasts for 1 hour and is not a concentration. Conjure Barrage lets you fire a non-magical piece of ammunition and create a 60-foot cone. Creatures in the cone must make a dex save or take 3d8 damage. Hello, Shotgun. Our final level is level 10 Ranger. You receive a final benefit from Deft Explorer, Tireless. This lets you give yourself temporary HP equal to 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier, and you can use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Short rests also now remove 1 level of exhaustion. Nature's Veil allows you to turn invisible as a bonus action for 1 turn. That one really doesn't make any sense, but screw it, we're going stealthy. Time to look into this build. Your damage capabilities are amazing. Hunter's Mark and Slayer's Prey are both adding a d6, and 4 maneuvers add d10s. Your base movement is 35, 45 with Longstrider. Your maneuvers give you advantage, a teammate advantage, reduce damage, or improve your AC, and you have multiple ways of stopping undead in their tracks. Downside: you only have 5 superiority dice, meaning you could burn through those pretty quickly. You know what else you're going to burn quickly? Your 9 spell slots for your 9 spells. You also can't do magical damage without your spells. Overall, this is a pretty tactical build that can really wreck your enemies. Shield yourself up with Magic Circle or trap your foe and start raining the damage from a distance. If you don't cast Magic Circle, use Fancy Footwork to stay away and harass from the edge of the battlefield, reducing damage when you get hit and healing when you can. Thank you for joining us, and remember to leave a like and subscribe. We release a new video every Monday, and over on Patreon we have weekly polls to decide our next builds.